When it comes down to drills, I never like to give people a set sequence of what to do. It is the way I was taught in the beginning, but I want to make sure that everybody has one skill when they walk through the door, and it's the punch, and it's synced with the mentality of what the punch is for. In Wing Chun, we want to end a fight with either breath, consciousness, or life. It's as simple as possible. It's a very ruthless art. So when it comes down to drills, I think that, you know, like Chi Sao. Some teachers don't teach Chi Sao to like year 3 or whatever. I want people starting with Chi Sao and like feeling like this, not knowing what they're doing, and then, you know, years down the road they're like, boom, I'm laser beamed on your chest. Right. I know exactly what I'm doing. So they still see that level of skill. Because I think with any drill, if you wind up giving somebody a sequence, they have to undo what you're teaching. There's 4 stages to learning. Imitation. Monkey see, monkey do. So you throw a punch at me, teacher says 1, 2, 3, 4. They do that. You're going to do it over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. You have application. You know, what happens if you throw, or I think I've trained for this forever, but you throw a left punch. Oh! Well, then does my Tan Sao work? Okay, now you have to adapt. So I have imitation, application, adaptation. You throw that punch to that side. Oh, I got to adapt now. And then evolution. You know, your last step is evolution. You have to evolve with everything you do based on what your teacher told. The problem is that most people are stuck in, you know, we're America, and we like to be told what to do, and you know, and instant gratification, so we want that black belt and everything. It's hard to tell somebody when they come into a Wing Chun class, there is no right answer. Well, what's the best punch for X, Y, and Z? It's whatever your enemy tells you to. So the first thing I have everyone understand off the bat is there's no blocking in Wing Chun. One of the basic drills we do is we're at a distance where I can't reach you and you can't reach me. And I tell people off the bat, I want to show you why Wing Chun doesn't block. So I'm going to count 1 through 5. And every time I count a number, you get a shot. You can get a ground punch, straight punch, uppercut, whatever you want. You get a hit. But we're at a distance where you can't make contact with me, so it's a safe environment for right now. This is one of the first ones I do. So I'm going to hit. I'm going to try and block everything you do. We'll go with 1 first. Ready? 1. I obviously missed that. Okay. 2. Okay. 3. Ooh, I got that one. 4. 5. Okay, I all but missed 1. Okay, I'm doing what Wing Chun says. I'm watching at your center. I'm doing all that stuff. Now we're going to change the mentality of what Wing Chun is. You get the same thing. You could change or vary up whatever strikes you did. Same 5. Ready? 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. You got to learn to attack off the bat. You have to learn. Does not matter whatsoever what you do with the arms. You know, I don't worry about these things. I worry about that attack. Okay, I tell everybody that there's 3 stages to every attack. If you throw a hook punch, you know, here's your hook. This is infancy, adolescent, adult. I don't want to get hit by an adult. I want to get hit by a kid, a baby. So by the time that punch comes up and I try to block it, that's full force, body weight into it. And then all sorts of bad stuff can happen after this, even if you block. So when that hook punch comes up, we want to tell people to punch off the bat. If they can embrace that idea, everything else off the bat does not matter. We want to hit. Okay, Wing Chun, it's all about using structure, a small person defeating a larger person. We don't want to fight. We want to end the fight as quick as possible. So the first thing everyone learns how to do is punch. The second thing is putting the punch in application so you have the cool Wing Chun. Because people do want that. People come to classes for different reasons. People want to look like, you know, Keanu Reeves in The Matrix, and people want to learn how to fight. I like the best of both worlds. I love having somebody walk in, they throw a punch, and I go, and they go, oh my God, how'd you do that? That's cool, but it's not. It's bullshit. Right. We don't want that. But I do we have people understand their body, and day 1 doesn't mean what it's going to mean year 15. So if you punch, and I teach people Tan punch, number 1. Pak strike, chop, lop. We both know in a fighting context that hand will not be there.
Right, I can pull it back. Or...
Absolutely. What they're getting, and they don't know it yet, and they see it later on, is when you hit their position. Are they too far back, too leaning forward, too crunched in? Are they learning position? Are they learning where their hips are pointing, where the power is coming from? Are they learning? They're learning about themselves. not a sequence. And when we tell them that off the bat, it doesn't make sense. So in the beginning with students, I have to tell them, you punch, 1, 2, 3. And they're just getting contact. And over time, they're learning that drills mean that, okay, if I stop a hand here, it's pressure now. Okay, so I don't push out this far. And I don't push out this far. It's just, okay, pressure. And I need them to see that it all comes down to one thing. Hands crossing over each other. Chain punch. Centerline punch. That's the nucleus of what we do. It doesn't mean that you walk in and you do a straight blast like everyone thinks you does. It means that your hands have to replace with a strike at any given moment in time. So everything that we do off the bat, and all the drills that we do in our class are very simple. We have our reflex drills. So after a student spends X amount of time doing this, they will then bridge into being creative. They have to apply and adapt. So now we're going to be at a little closer distance, and then you get to throw a punch. And 1, I'm here. Now I'm going to learn my body movement. I'm going to learn how to wind up moving around someone in a static position. Because now you're being a good training partner and you're letting me move around. And the goal, no matter what I do, is to be able to deliver strikes with as much power as possible. And then that's my job creatively. So a year 1 student, may take a punch here and may go jumps out, and then they may go, okay, here's a hit, here's a hit, here's a hit. A year 2 student may take the same punch, jumps out, and they may understand after so much training, okay, that's not as good of a hit. Here's my hit. There's a hit. That's maximum power. Then they're going to have to understand, oh, look, there's a hit. And then this isn't a hit, but this is a hit. They're going to learn to understand their power. So the more context you have in doing any kind of partner training drill, the more you understand yourself. We don't care about the enemy. It's not what we want. We care about ourselves. Because you're 6'1", 6'2".
6'1", yeah.
6'1", okay? Some other students, 5'7", 6 foot. 5'10", 5'4". The common denominator of everything is me. If you punch, my head height is still here.
Right.
Guy coming up has to hit here. Guy coming down has to get here. If I can get people to understand that you get 5 points from a center line, why is our guard here versus here, or not down here, or here? Well, on that 5 points to the center line, you understand that the distance you go from here to here, guarding high and low, is the same. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's all the same distance. So you have to understand yourself, and that's where these drills come into play. So we build from that. It's going back to a classroom sake too. It's boring, and it serves a purpose. If all I have students do are you throw a punch, boom, deliver that punch. They have to have something else on there, so they have to understand their positioning because fighting doesn't happen that way. So how does this drill? Throw a left punch, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How does that apply in combat? We bridge the next step to something called 5-step drill, which in my opinion is amazing for fighting. 5-step drill is simply being more dynamic, being more realistic in a very controlled environment that makes you think without having to react. I'll back up for a second. So after we get the first initial reflex drills, okay, you punch, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's where basic level students get there. Punch something else, please. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, all this. Okay, punch again. 1, 2, 3, boom, boom. Okay, now we got to add something else in there so that they understand movement around the body. Punch 1. Now, punch again, please. Now I have to move. Okay, so now we add in another attack. Punch 1, punch something. 1, I'm sorry, punch again. 2. Now students will have to understand that more dynamic stuff comes up. Plus, if we want to go from inside to outside gate, you have to have those transitions. If you just throw one punch in, how you're really going to transition? So there's the conundrum in teaching drills. You throw one, now you have a curriculum where your drills are all about teaching students a sequence or how to move inside gate. You punch again, now I'm in the outside gate. Great. If you do not preface and focus and teach and explain ad nauseum to your students that it's not about switching from an inside gate to an outside gate but giving an attack, your Wing Chun is garbage, in my opinion. So if somebody throws a punch and this is all you do, that's the job. That's Wing Chun. Not if you throw a punch, thank you, do you mind? I do that in every fight. So we have to build on that. Okay, so the next step, 5-step drill. 5-step drill is simply this. You throw a punch. Okay, throw a punch right here. Okay, 1. See how much more live it is?
Yep.
You make contact, that forces me to work. I tell my students, knock me out, blacken my eye, break a rib, I don't care. As long as I leave with my teeth, I'm happy, because dentures are expensive. You know, fillers, whatever the hell they are. You throw that punch, now you give me a little bit more realistic. I have to go, shit, how am I going to deal with this? Look at the distance. Now your Wing Chun crap doesn't work, right? Because your Tan Da works, your Bong Sa works. You know what, being in one of my last classes, I always had to deal with guys your height. And you have to understand that the concepts, they must be married and live happily with those techniques. Okay, you punch, there's a technique. You know, your Munsao going right into somebody. You punch, your Munsao or your punch has to go in with forwarding energy and facing. Okay, so those two, they have to live together. Otherwise, there's no Wing Chun.
Let me add something real
Absolutely.
quick. One thing that makes Wing Chun so effective is the concepts behind it. Even when I know Dominick is coming in, I still get that panic mode in my brain when I see him invading my space. So I can see why this really works. Because this is a drill, I know exactly what's coming, but my brain still goes into that panic mode. In a street fight, people, when they panic, they're going to make mistakes. And that's where you can capitalize on those.
That's why we want to capitalize on them. You know, I say it all the time, a 14-year-old kid who's got no experience, who had a bad day, can come up and knock me out and end my life. I don't know what their capability is. So we want to end them as quick as possible. Everything I do has got to be accompanied with going into the bad guy, because that's not my range. That's my range. And we have so many tools in Wing Chun to teach us about ourselves. Wing Chun's all about learning about yourself. It's not about learning to block or kick. From the first form to Chi Sao to sparring to anything you do, you have to learn about you.